Friends, stop the scroll for a minute. Seriously, just breathe. I'm going to tell you something that, when I first discovered it, made me laugh out loud, then made me question everything I thought I knew about the man we follow, Jesus of Nazareth. For years, decades even, we've been handed a picture of the cross, haven't we? A picture of ultimate sacrifice, immense suffering, and a kind of theological trade off where an angry God demands payment, and Jesus, bless his soul, steps in to take the whipping for us. It's a powerful, moving story. It is. It is. But what if I told you that story, the focus on the suffering, the shame, the death, is actually a brilliant piece of misdirection? What if I told you that the real secret of the cross is not about death at all, but about a coded message for your life right now? I grew up, like many of you, singing hymns about the rugged cross, wearing the tiny little symbol around my neck, and feeling that weight, that sacred heavy weight of unpayable debt. And I'll be honest, sometimes it felt like it kept me small. It made Jesus unreachable. He was the exception. I was the rule. He was divine. I was broken. It was a beautiful but strangely limiting devotion. Then, about 3 years ago, I was deep, and I mean deep, in a study of the first century Roman world. Not just the spiritual texts, but the history books, the archaeology, the dirt, the grime. And I ran right into the historical truth of crucifixion. And wow, what an eye opener! We've sanitized it, haven't we? We hang these lovely gold crosses, but in Jesus' time, the cross was explicit psychological terror. It wasn't just a way to kill someone. It was a way to dehumanize them, to maximize agony, and to send a crystal clear, horrifying message to anyone thinking about defying the empire. You drove into Jerusalem, and you saw miles of them lining the road. It was torture as performance art. So, here's the puzzle. The joyful, hilarious, faith-affirming puzzle I found myself staring at. Why, after witnessing their beloved teacher, the man they believed was the Son of God, die in the most shameful, horrific, and publicly humiliating way imaginable, would his early followers make that very instrument of terror their central, sacred symbol? Think about it. Imagine surviving a concentration camp, only to make the gas chamber your holy icon. It defies all logic. It makes zero sense. Unless they saw something in that moment of ultimate physical destruction that completely redefined what they understood death, power, and victory to be. Oh, you won't believe what I found next. The traditional interpretation, Jesus suffered so you don't have to, is spiritually convenient, but it turns the revolutionary power of Jesus into a passive insurance policy. It casts him as the ultimate victim. But the Gospels tell a different, far more exciting story. This man wasn't dragged unwillingly to his end. He didn't just endure a cosmic trauma. He orchestrated a cosmic transformation. Remember when Pilate, the mighty Roman governor, was flexing his authority? He says, "Don't you know I have the power to crucify you?" And Jesus, the man in chains, the supposed victim, looks Pilate right in the eye and essentially says, "Buddy, you have no power over me unless it has been given to you from above." What a glorious comeback. He wasn't helpless. He was completely in control, choosing this moment, this process, this divine initiation. The early believers weren't celebrating a tragedy. They were celebrating a profound, hidden truth encoded in the act itself. They didn't see it as a full stop at the end of Jesus' life. They saw it as the bold starting line for yours. This is where my own faith exploded open. I realized the church, perhaps unintentionally, had spent 2,000 years teaching us the result of the process, but not giving us the instruction manual for the process itself. And the first instruction, the most forbidden secret they hid in plain sight, is in the words, "Take up your cross and follow me." For so long we heard that as, "Accept your burdens, be a good little sufferer." But Jesus wasn't teaching victimhood. He was offering an ancient, powerful initiation. The conscious, willing surrender of the false self. Your cross isn't your suffering. It's your invitation to let everything false about you, every limitation, every fear, every story of unworthiness, be nailed down and left behind so that your true, magnificent self can rise. It's the death of the ego so the divine within can live. Gosh, I get goosebumps just saying that. If you've ever felt like there's a deeper mystery, a hidden truth about Jesus that just feels right in your soul, then you are in the right place. Don't let this journey stop here. Hit that subscribe button right now. Join this family of seekers, because in our next part, we're going to dive into the literal, physical, body as temple blueprint of the cross that Jesus left for us. It's an ancient symbol hidden right in your own flesh. And what it means for your connection to God will absolutely change the way you pray forever. Stay with me. You won't want to miss the shocking truth about your own body. Welcome back, everyone. If you're still with me after part one, you know we've already shattered the old limiting understanding of the cross. We established that Jesus wasn't teaching passive victimhood. He was offering a path to radical conscious transformation, the voluntary crucifixion of the ego so the divine self could awaken. But here's where the story gets mind-bending, where the rabbit hole goes infinitely deep, and where you realize this whole saga of the cross isn't just a historical event. It's an eternal blueprint encoded in the very structure of reality. And get this, right in your own physical body. After that initial discovery, I spent months tracing the symbol of the cross backward through history. Forget the churches and the stained glass for a moment. Look at the raw geometry, two lines intersecting, and what I found across every great mystical tradition, long before Christianity, blew my mind and filled me with an utterly profound, joyful awe. The ancient Egyptians had the Ankh, the key of life, often seen as a cruciform shape. The Hindus and Buddhists spoke of the axis mundi, the cosmic pillar that holds all dimensions in balance. Norse mythology had Yggdrasil, the world tree, connecting the underworld, the middle world, and the heavens. Even the Mayan people had the Ceiba tree, a central cosmic axis. It's all the same symbol, everywhere. Why? Because the cross is a fundamental map of consciousness. Strip away the religious doctrine, and what are you left with? The vertical line. This is the axis of spirit. It connects earth to heaven, the root to the crown. It represents the eternal, the infinite, your direct connection to the source consciousness, to God. It is the realm of the being. The horizontal line. This is the plane of matter. It stretches out, embracing the physical world, time, space, and the realm of form and experience. It is the realm of doing. And you, my friend, you are the sacred intersection. You are the living, breathing, pulsing meeting point where heaven touches earth, where the infinite expresses itself through the finite, where spirit becomes form. I mean, think about that for a second. You are not separate from the divine. You are the place where divinity meets humanity. Now, let's bring it home. Where does this cosmic initiation, this alchemical transformation, actually take place? If Jesus was the ultimate initiate, where was his altar? The answer, I believe, is the deepest secret the church had to obscure to maintain its authority. Your own body is the true cruciform temple where resurrection happens. I remember sitting in my office when this hit me. I actually stood up, extended my arms out to my sides, and looked down at the shape I was making. And there it was. My own body was the living, walking symbol. The spine is the vertical axis, the central channel, what the yogis call the Sushumna Nadi, connecting the energy of the earth to the cosmic consciousness. Your outstretched arms are the horizontal plane, embracing all of creation, gathering the entire world into your heart center. This is not poetry. This is sacred geometry made flesh. If you are the temple, if your body is the Holy of Holies, then you don't need external intermediaries. You don't need their buildings, their complex hierarchy, or their systems of controlled access. You are the direct connection. This realization is terrifying to any institution that profits from your powerlessness. And I think that's why the literal, physical, embodied mystery of the cross was pushed aside in favor of a simpler, more controllable narrative of debt and payment. Jesus, the ultimate teacher, was giving us literal instructions when he spoke of the cross. He wasn't just speaking in parables. He was revealing the mechanics of enlightenment. When he said, "If your eye is single, your whole body will be filled with light," he was describing the activation of what mystics across all traditions call the light body, the full awakening of consciousness. This path is not about waiting for salvation, it's about embodying it. When you feel your heartbeat, that's not just blood pumping, that's the cosmic drum keeping the universe in time. When you breathe, that's not just oxygen exchange, that's the breath of God breathing itself through you. The flesh isn't fallen. The flesh is sacred. Your body isn't a prison for your soul. It's the vehicle of divine expression. And here's the true, magnificent twist that connects directly back to part one. When you consciously take up your cross, when you nail the false story of your limits to that inner vertical axis, you are choosing to die to your ego in that moment. And every breath after is a resurrection. Resurrection isn't what happened to one man 2,000 years ago. It is the blueprint for awakened humanity. It is your birthright. But this is an active path. You have to choose it daily. This is why the Apostle Paul, a man who understood this mystery deeply, said, "I die daily." He wasn't talking about physical suffering. He was talking about the constant conscious crucifixion of the old self, so the Christ consciousness, the divine, unlimited self, could be born within him again and again. My friends, if this is resonating with you, if you feel that zing of recognition in your soul, then you are a seeker and you are ready for this truth. I implore you, hit that like button to spread this powerful, liberating message. And please, please subscribe and turn on notifications, because the final piece of this puzzle, the secret to living this resurrection consciousness now, and the true meaning of "it is finished," is coming next. We're going to talk about the final prophecy of the cross, the one that makes every external authority obsolete. You absolutely cannot miss it. If you've followed us through the first two parts, you understand that the cross is not a tragedy, but a template, not an instrument of debt, but a blueprint for divinity. We've moved from understanding the cross as a historical lie to seeing it as a cosmic map embodied in our own flesh. Now we arrive at the final, most glorious truth, the prophecy that changes everything about your relationship with Jesus, with the church, and with your own power. This is the understanding that makes the external authority of any institution instantly obsolete. The forbidden secret of Jesus' cross culminates in this. The cross was never about worshiping someone else's transformation. It was about living your own. Think about the sheer radical audacity of that statement. We've been trained for centuries to worship the event, to honor the historical act, and to adore the person. And yes, we should honor and adore him. But Jesus, the greatest teacher the world has ever known, did not suffer and rise to become a static object of worship. No, my friends. He did it to show you what you are capable of becoming. When he said, "I and the Father are one," he wasn't drawing a line around himself as the only one. He was showing the end goal for all of humanity. He didn't come to be the only Son of God. He came to awaken the God within every son and daughter of the Most High. When he instructed his followers to follow me, he didn't mean worship me alone. He meant do what I am doing, become what I am becoming, embody the same Christ consciousness that flows through me. That is the heart of the gospel, stripped bare. This is the ultimate liberating truth. You are not a sinner waiting for salvation. You are a divine being temporarily forgetting your true, magnificent nature. You are not broken and needing fixing. You are perfect and needing only remembering. So what does it mean to live this final prophecy? It means that the process of crucifixion and resurrection is not a single past event, but a continuous moment-by-moment practice. It happens every time you choose truth over illusion. You crucify the self-doubt and resurrect certainty. Love over fear. You crucify the resentment or the smallness and resurrect compassion and courage. Infinite nature over wounded ego. You crucify the old story of unworthiness and resurrect your birthright as a co-creator with God. When Jesus, at the climax of his journey, declared, "It is finished," he wasn't uttering a cry of defeat or even just relief. He was declaring triumphantly, the great work, the alchemical transformation of flesh and spirit, is complete. The blueprint has been successfully executed. Now go and do likewise. What a king! What a guide! This continuous process of conscious transformation leads us to the state of resurrection consciousness that we explored in part 2. When you live from that awareness, when you recognize that you are eternal awareness focused through a human nervous system, then death loses its sting. Not because you're going somewhere else when you die, but because you realize there's nowhere else to go. You are already home in the heart of God. My friend, you are not waiting for resurrection. You are resurrection happening now. And this realization requires a sacred vow, a commitment to never again play small when infinity is your birthright. The flame has been passed to you. You didn't come here to be saved by someone else's sacrifice. You came here to embody the same consciousness Jesus embodied, to demonstrate that ordinary humans can become extraordinary expressions of divine love. So, here is my final invitation to you, a fellow seeker who honors the Master. Claim this truth. Step into your divine inheritance. Stop hiding your light under the bushel of false humility. The cross is calling you home, not to a place, but to a truth, not to a distant future, but to this eternal moment where heaven meets earth in the sacred temple of your awakened body. If this journey has awakened something deep and true within you, then you know this is just the beginning. The path is collective, and we walk it together. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel and share this message with others who long to walk this path of true discipleship, the path of becoming. Go and be the light of the world.